just when you're least looking for it, some of the biggest surprises happen. So here's a little audiophile rant, okay? We'll keep it small. Funny thing happened the other day. I had just gotten done the AC/DC For Those About to Rock video. I'd just been listening to that album and that album alone for 2.5 to 3 days, be it the 16-bit or the 24-bit. Head was bobbing, foot was tapping up and down. Watch the video, you see how much I like that. What I had to do is I wanted to listen for something for myself. So last Friday, late afternoon, early evening, I decided to cleanse the palate a little bit. And I went out there and I put on a record that I had bought early November this past year, right? A couple months back. I bought this one and a couple others at the same time. And this one is actually, so the one we're talking about is Simon and Garfunkel's Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme. This particular one is a Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab release. And again, I just wanted to listen to it for my pleasure. Didn't want to think about taking notes for a video, or didn't want to get over analytical on it. I just wanted to, I had a beverage, a nice little glass of bourbon, and I just sat back and I wanted to listen to it. And holy crap, this is kind of, again, wanted to start this rant where if you're going for a audiophile type of record, right? What define it? I don't know. It's like try to define cloud computing or AI right now. Yeah, okay, define it. Rant for another day. In this case, though, this had fantastic production value. The soundstage was enormous. It was from wall to wall, ceiling to floor. It made these speakers sound ridiculously good. And yeah, it was a great 28 minutes of my life. That's all this album is 28 minutes. So why aren't we getting this album on any of the top 50 audiophile records? I looked today. Is it out there? No, it's not on anybody's list. I don't know why. It's got all the things you need, at least from a listening experience. Now, maybe there is well, I don't want to get to that rat hole, but it's a great listening experience, and I guess that's why I'm here showing this album some love today. I'm a Gen Xer. I mentioned it a few other times on these other videos. Most Gen Xers should know who Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel are. Right, I think we've seen him enough on Sesame Street growing up, and we're certainly aware of them, right? Our parents had listened to these guys, or it was on the AM radio when we were driving around the back seat or whatever land yacht our parents had at the time. My parents, actually, this is their album. This is a 1970 release, and at least based on what I was able to find on Discogs. It's in absolute crap condition, so it's not going to be played on my system, but from a nostalgia perspective, pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool stuff right there. So again, for us Gen Xers, we may not, we didn't grow up with these guys per se, but we did grow up with Paul Simon, right? We saw him on Saturday Night Live. He hosted 4 times. He was a musical guest 13 times. I didn't know that. I looked it up. And we all remember, right, in 1981, this huge thing. It was on the news. I mean, big news stations, national news was carrying this, that Simon and Garfunkel were going to reunite for the concert at Central Park in New York City. 500,000 people showed up to this. It was a TV special. I think I've seen it a couple times, not too long ago. I think PBS every once in a while will put the concert out as part of their, revenue generating machine. And it's a great watch if you ever get a chance to. And then obviously in '86, Paul Simon had this huge resurgence with Graceland, right? And most of us know the "You Can Call Me Al" video with Chevy Chase in it. So we know who Paul Simon is. I'm not so sure people younger than us do. But if you're millennial or younger or looking to get into this audiophile type of land, how about a just great listening experience? Yeah, check this out. Check this album out. Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme. Fantastic. This was their third studio album. Came out in October 24th, 1966. And it was produced by Bob Johnston. It was actually called excessive for the amount of time they took to record this album. It was 3+ months, and that was like unheard of at the time. You think about how long it takes to make an album now, or certainly maybe how long it used to take an album. Well, Jesus, look, the Stones album, the last one I think took 16 years. So, yeah, for 3 months, not too excessive. This was the first one of their albums to be recorded on an 8-track machine and 8-track recorder. And perhaps that is some of the reasons why this thing sounds exquisite, even at its inception compared to other records at the time, which were, the Beatles at this time were still using 4-track machines, 4-track recorders. So this was a pretty big deal for them. In fact, they had to bend the record company's ear to get an 8-track system in there. And this was also the first time that Paul Simon insisted on having complete control over the recording process. So that's Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme. That's all I'm going to say about the background of this thing. There's some overall thoughts on this album, okay? The imaging is excellent. I mentioned that, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it today. The sound stage is huge. It's humongous. It's from ceiling to floor, wall to wall, and everywhere in between. Superb production. This is one of the best sounding records I have. I'll put it up there with Dire Straits right now. Yeah, I think I would put it up there with that. And another one that I won't mention now, but it will be in my next video. Various musical styles on this thing. You're going to have the standard folk, right? The stuff that you'd hear at camp at, again, kids my age when we were growing up. You're going to have that pop, that 60s pop, psychedelic rock, psychedelic pop I wrote down here. And you'll have that classic Art Garfunkel, very soft folk music as well. So that's the overall thoughts on the album. The first song on side 1, Scarborough Fair, Canticle. It's a trippy song. This is very psychedelic. This sound is the wall to wall, ceiling to ceiling, and it's coming out into the room. We've talked about this before, the sensation where it's not just, the sound stage just isn't right in front of you, it's actually coming out and it's wrapping itself around you. This song definitely has that, hell, the whole album has that. You're hearing chimes and a harpsichord and guitars and the harmonies. You heard the song. Listen to it on this album on a very, very modest system. Again, I'm running this through my analog stage, which is an Audio-Technica LP120. I do have a slightly upgraded cartridge. I'll put that's actually in the details below if you're interested in what cartridge I'm using. And I'm going through a Phono preamp. It's the Pro-Ject S-Box or 2-box S2, the Pro-Ject 2-box S2. And it's going through the Rotel A11 Tribute amp out these Wharfdale 85th Anniversary Edition speakers. And boy, it's a bookshelf speaker. Close your eyes listening to this album, it might as well be 2 Marshall stacks. on both sides of the room. It's insane. So yeah, great first song. It starts off, it's an attention getter, that first song, our Scarborough Fail. Goes right into patterns. The word I put on here was killer. It's a delicate yet powerful at the same time song. You've got, it starts off kind of like an acoustic blues. It has a Stephen Stills-like vibe to it. Funny I'll say that, right? Because this predated anything Stills did by, I think, at least a year and a half, 2 years. Very cool. In the far left, you got a shaker, which sounds like it's in the room right in front of you. All the way on the right-hand side, you got the bongo drums. Again, audiophile, right? It's got everything that you want in that type of a record. I mean, people love Miles Davis' Kind of Blue. I got that for Christmas. I've been listening to it. And you've got that type of stuff here. You've got very well-positioned holographic type of a soundstage. Third song is Cloudy. It's big, it's holographic. You got a xylophone in there, which is really cool, and you can pinpoint where the xylophone's being hit. It's like, ooh, there you are, there you are. Really cool. Goes into the fourth song, which we all know and love, Homeward Bound. Great song, best version I've ever heard. This is one that I put here in the notes. This song is giving you a huge bear hug and he's not letting go. You're sitting there, you know, equidistant away from the two speakers in a triangle, and the song is just reaching out around you and squeezing, giving you a big old warm hug. Then it goes into the fifth song, The Big Bright Green Pleasure Machine. I'll say it again, The Big Bright Green Pleasure Machine. Do with that what you want. It's a great mid-60s sound. It sounds like it could come off of the Beatles' Rubber Soul, or maybe the first tracks that they were doing for Revolver. Really great mid-60s sound. At times it sounded actually like a little early Stones, a little Stonesy. This is one you're kind of climbing into the music and you're just kind of looking around and you can see where all the instruments are. It's like being in the song. Cool stuff, man. I was only drinking a little bourbon at the time, promise. Last song on the first side, the 59th Bridge song, the 59th Street Bridge song, Feeling Groovy. And indeed, you're feeling groovy during this song. You hear the count-in by Paul, and then I'll just give you the notes. So good, so clear, so big. Feeling groovy. Enough said. Best version I've ever heard of that song. Then I get up in 15 minutes, I flipped it over, and we're going to side two. Side two starts with a song called The Dangling Conversation. It's a straight out and out folk song. Very clear, very clear, but not brittle. Okay, this is super clear and articulate, but don't mistake that for being brittle. It's not brittle at all. You're hearing strings, drums, percussion. Its production is awesome. This whole album is really well produced and really well recorded. And on this standard folk song, it's just a great listen. And I'll say this, even if it's not your favorite song on the album, this thing is only 28 minutes long for 12 songs. Just listen to it, it'll be over and you'll be on to the next song before you know it. It's a very fast-moving record. The next song, Flowers Never Bend with the Rainfall. I put folk pop. This song had a very articulate guitars. You've got one guitar coming out of the left channel that you know it's finger picking. You just know it. And then on the right-hand speaker, you got another guitar which is being hit with a pick and more strummed. And you don't have to be a guitar player to understand that. Just use your ears and you can hear it. This is so well defined. Really cool. Great harmonies I put in as well. Obviously, it's a Simon and Garfunkel song, so that's just the price of admission, is the great harmonies. All right, now I'm going to mispronounce this song. It's the ninth song on the album. It's called A Simple Desultory Philippic. I'm going to put my finger here. You can see it for yourself right there. Okay, right by my finger. Now, again, I'll read it one more time. A simple desultory Philippic, or how I was Robert McNamara'd into submission. What a frickin' title. This song was just cool. Not that I've ever been to a 60s dance club, but you know, you've seen specials on TV or different newsreels, right? And you'd see that black and white of the 60s people dancing in a club someplace. That's what I had in my head when I was listening to this. This has a Beatle beat for sure. Think of like a faster version of the song "The Word" on Rubber Soul, but it's got Paul. He's singing with a Dylan accent. He's singing this like Bob Dylan, and he's taking the piss out of everybody. Look up the lyrics when you get a chance. But he is ripping on. He's ripping on everybody. He's ripping on the Stones, the Beatles, Dylan, Phil Spector, Lou Adler, Barry Sadler, Art Garfunkel. He's ripping on everybody. He's ripping on himself. This was the biggest surprise of the album. Again, I probably heard this song growing up, but I never registered, never cared to register. Killer song, fun song. Wicked fun, I put. Wicked fun. Yeah, at the end, I think Paul Simon drops his harmonica and he goes, "I lost my harmonica, Albert." Sounds like he's drunk or half-baked or whatever. Probably, I don't know. But great song. Do yourself a favor. Go out and at least before you buy the album, just go out and listen to this on YouTube or something. All right, the 10th song. For Emily, Whenever I May Find Her. Great Art Garfunkel song. The vocals are exquisite. He's double-tracked. Great reverb on this song. You can visualize them like in a hall. That you're the only... You're watching either a rehearsal or you're getting a private show in a hall. And the spotlight's on them alone, and it's just a great listen, a really great listen. So articulate. And the last two songs of the album, song number 11, A Poem on the Underground Wall. I just wrote here, great instrument isolation. Again, close your eyes and everything has its place. Huge sound stage, a lot of air, a lot of space in this song. Really good. And then this whole thing ends with a song called 7 O'Clock News / Silent Night. Yeah. It's kind of a social commentary of the times, but in a really cool way in which they've done it. Coming out of the left channel, you've got the piano playing Silent Night. Right in the middle of the center channel, you've got both Simon and Garfunkel with their vocals, almost if they were sharing a single mic, yet there are two distinct vocals. They are not, again, because it's such a holographic record, you can see them, literally see them with your mind's eye. And on the right channel is coming in a recording of 7 O'Clock News. It starts out low volume, and as the song goes, it gets louder and louder. And at the end, it's pretty much overtaken the vocals. Whew, what a great album. 28 minutes long and you're out of it. And it's just left me with a huge smile on my face. So much so that I had to do this video for it. And again, doing a little bit of rant. Where is this song? Where is this album, rather? Where is this album on any of the lists, on any of the audiophile lists? Now, we can get down a whole nother rat hole on how this thing was recorded, but at the end of the day, I just want to have a great listening experience, and this thing gave me a tremendous listening experience. Fabulous. So really that's it. And that's what I want to try to share with you folks and get you guys to do the same. Go out there, build yourself, if you have the means, to build a modest hi-fi system, a modest 2-channel hi-fi system. Again, my system all in, it's a relative, it's a lot of money, but it's not an obscene amount. I spent, again, about maybe $3,000, $3,500 on the whole thing. And records like this make it sound like I spent 10 times that much. It really is cool. So find some time for you, right? Gen Xers out there, you're getting squeezed from both sides. You got your kids, making sure that you get them set off in life the proper way. We've got our parents, if we're still fortunate enough to have them, right? They're coming to a different stage of their life, and man, it's there's a lot on our plates. So when you can, take the time. Give yourself some time to relax at the end of the day. Go out, get yourself your favorite beverage. Sit down in your living room, office, hell, even with your headphones if you have to. And cue up Simon & Garfunkel's Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme. This album, I got it, it's $40, $39.99. I got this album online through a company called the ENYO, which is based out of, I think, Tempe, Arizona. And the ENYO, I believe his name is Mike Esposito, who owns it. He's got a fabulous YouTube channel if you're already not aware of it. And he does great service. Really, really happy with the service out there. I don't get any affiliation from this. I'm just very thankful that he can provide a great service. So yeah, give yourself a half hour, listen to this record, and chill out, right? Because if not now, when? That's it. This is a quick one. Hope you come back for the next one, because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be one of the biggest records of all time, comparing it 33 1/3 RPM versus 45 RPM. And hey, if you like this content, I should have said this earlier. You know, I ought to try to advertise myself a little bit earlier in these videos. I keep forgetting. I just want to get to the good stuff. Hey, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. It's free. I'd really appreciate that. This has been a lot of fun for me, coming out with about 2 or 3 of these a week, and it's really been a fun process. So yeah, hit the like and subscribe button, and that way you're going to get the next video right on your inbox, or right in your queue, and you're going to want to see that one for sure, no doubt. So again, thank you very much. Be good. Take care.